let's talk color theory. The first thing you need to understand about color theory, at least for what we're doing, is basics of color. Meaning that we're going to first address what's called the Munsell color wheel. Now, the standard color wheel that you're all pretty much acclimated to. So, let's look at some key terms. What is the color wheel? The color wheel is essentially a range of colors that interact in a certain way. And they're divided up in a manner that works visually. All right? So, when we look at the color wheel, who can tell me what are the primary colors? Red, yellow, and blue. So, I'm going to put yellow at the top. I always like yellow at the top. Does it have to be? No.
There's a color wheel right here.
Okay. Now, I marked those out, and I'm going to keep doing that, so just hold on. Now, red, yellow, blue. What are the secondary colors?
Green, orange, purple.
Green, orange, and violet. I always take purple. Now, what's important about these? The fact is, the primary colors, you don't make those. Those are the three you gotta have. Okay? Once you have them, you can make any other color. The secondary colors are colors made by combining two primaries. Okay? So, for example, yellow and blue make green. Blue and red make violet. Red and yellow make orange. Orange. Now, those are our primaries, right? And then our secondaries. There's another. They're called intermediate or tertiary colors. So, we have, let me do this here. Primary. Secondary. Oh, what shape should we use?
A square.
A square. Should have used the triangle for it, but I like the triangle too much. So this would be tertiary, or also known as intermediate. What are tertiary colors?
You combine primary with
Okay.
secondary.
The colors on either side of this.
Yellow and green. One primary, one secondary. Yellow and green make what? What color? Yellow green. Real complicated name there, isn't it? Wonder what it's made from. Green and blue make. This is very, very important. Green and blue make blue-green. If you write green-blue on the test, I will mark it wrong.
The primary always.
It is correct. The primary always comes first.
Green blue just sounds weird. Why would you even put that together? Like,
I've had people do it. You think that's bad? I've had people actually write red-yellow on a test before.
oh my gosh.
I've even had people put orange next to blue on the color wheel.
I've had the color wheel.
I've only had one semester where I didn't have somebody fail the color wheel. Blue, violet. Red, violet. red, orange. Yellow, orange. These are the colors of the color wheel. I want you to take a very close note of something. White, gray, and black are nowhere on here. But what do?
No, people have done that too. Like, what? I have a feeling you tell us this because people have done that before.
Yes. Yes, I do. Be aware, black and white and gray are not colors. They're not. They're tones. That's right. That's a wonderful word. Tones. Okay? Okay? They're tones. Black, white, and gray. Is it EY? I always get that mixed up. AY, EY? What is it? All right. So, those are your tones. Now, what happens when you add one of these to one of these? There's some terms here. Very important, okay? If you add black, white to a color, there's a specific term. When you add black to a color, what is this called? Shading! That's right! Shading means to add black. Okay? So therefore, shade. What happens when you add white? Tint. Very good. It's not car windows. Okay. So, gray. There's an odd one. See, when you add gray to a color, if you want to get technical about it, it tones. Okay? But there's also another way to tone a color. You add what is known as the color's complement to it. And that also tones it. More importantly, there's another word that can be used in place of tone. It's called muting. Mute or muting. This means to reduce vibrancy. Okay? What is vibrancy?
How bright something is?
Correct. It's how bright the color is. This deals with the notion of vibrancy. There's another term that's often used. It's called intensity. Right? Mm-hmm. So the more intense the color is, the more pure the color is. Right? What is a pure color? What is the word for that? A pure color. Color in its purest form, undiluted. No, that's the stuff we make the paint from. Hue. It's not a friend of your dad's. Hue is a pure color. Not tinted, not shaded, not toned. It is the color in its purest form. Now, intensity deals with that notion. A very intense color is one that truly steps forward. So when we look, say, at this color wheel here, this red is very intense, isn't it? Okay? Now notice as we move towards this middle here, as you come down, all right? What's happening? It's changing. So, give me the top portion of that, please. Thank you. Let's come over here. You see, this will tell you if I add white to that red, you see, if I attempt to do this, if I mix its complement to the red, this is what happens. it loses its intensity. Okay? When it loses its intensity, this is called toning or muting. Okay? Now, there is a way when a color becomes super intense, when it just becomes very vibrant, when it becomes saturated. And there's a term that you'll see sometimes, saturated, okay? If something is saturated, it means that color just dominates everything. It comes out, it's so vibrant to the point of it goes beyond almost good taste in a way. You know, I mean, it's super vibrant. It's almost glowing in its intensity. It's this times 2, okay? Now, we can also use that term when we talk about an artwork that, say, has lots and lots of red in it. You can say it's very red saturated, has lots of red, lots of bright, vibrant reds in it. Then it can be considered saturated with that color. Now, this is the color wheel, and you were all assigned to also get a color wheel, okay? My recommendation, they make a little pocket one that's really neat. So you can use this as a nice reference. And you can see, you know, it'll tell you, you know, what happens when you add certain colors to certain other colors and things like that. So you know kind of what you're mixing, okay? On the back, it has something we will talk about next week, which are your color harmonies. But for today, the focus is solely on this, okay? Hue, intensity, saturation, vibrance or vibrancy, tones. Got it? You with me? All right. So now let's talk about your assignment.